What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is something new. This is something that's taken me a little bit of time to throw together, so hopefully you guys enjoy it, but that's also why it's coming so late. A couple weeks ago, I did a video on Drongo. I did a rework to Drongo on how I would make him better fit into Predecessor. And today, I have a similar video, however, this one is an original hero. This one is my own brainchild. I came up with everything on my own, all the arts, stuff like that, hero kit, everything is from my brain. So I wanted to put this out there to see what you guys think. I wanted to see if you guys thought that it was good, bad, what you'd change, what you don't think would fit in Pred, what you do think would fit in Pred. I want to hear all of it. So today we're going to start with like his lore slash his art, kind of how I picture him looking, where he's from, that kind of thing. We'll move into the kit. And then the final part of this video will be my whole thought, my process on coming up with him, what I think, like how I think he'd play, all that kind of stuff, right? That's what we'll get into. So without further ado, we'll jump right into this. Starting off with his looks, I picture him like a big version of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. So the lore behind this character is that he is from the same world as Faye, except where Faye uses her magic to grow plants and kind of, again, she's a little bit threatening, but she's fairly benevolent, right? This would kind of be a darker version of that. This guy uses his magics not on plants, but on animals. Eventually, through this, he learned to mutate himself. So he mutated himself, he grew claws, big like ears, and another set of arms. So he has 4 arms. So this is the picture I have, which is Stitch with 4 arms. I picture obviously he would be bigger than Stitch, right? He'd be like human-sized Stitch, which is kind of terrifying to think about, but that's how I picture him. Anyways, now that you guys have a visual mind picture, we'll move into the kit. His passive is called Climbing Claws. While he is next to a wall, he is able to press space and latch onto the wall and climb along them. This would, I'm sure, be a pain to animate, but again, we're just going over the kit here. So he'd be able to climb on walls for about 10 seconds. He gains a little bit of move speed while he's on them. Not a lot, like 10%, just a little bit, to let him move around a little bit more freely. And yeah, I would picture this about a 10-second cooldown, so a 50% uptime. I think if you wanted to reduce this to 8 seconds on the wall, I think you should also take the cooldown down to 8 seconds to let him, again, more freely use this. His auto attack, I didn't worry about that. I don't damage, scaling, all that kind of stuff can be fixed later, right? That's whatever. Most of these abilities, right? I don't have cooldowns. I don't have mana costs. I don't have damage. Again, we're just going over the kit. That kind of stuff can all be added at a later date, right? That kind of stuff is secondary to the idea, what we're going over today. First ability that we're going to go over is his Q. This is his primary damaging ability. This is called Flurry. So this ability is him taking all of his claws, all 4 of them, and slashing forward in front of him with all 4 of them. The range on this, I picture, if you think of the Sev Q cone, a little bit shorter than that, but also a little bit wider than. So it would be like a more melee range version of Sev Q. And this hits 4 times. It does not apply auto attack effects. So this wouldn't proc your Sky Splitter. However, this would be able to critically strike. So this instantly gives him this sort of two main ways you could play him, right? You can go full crit damage, play full assassin, do a lot of damage, right? But you're squishy. You can also build him bruiser, but this ability is not going to like do 60% of someone's health, right? So those are the 2 things that you can think about in the kit, and we'll go over more of that later. But the identity, right? He's an assassin. That is what I have built this character to do. I would imagine he's a jungler, and that is his. So again, four slashes. It can crit, but it doesn't proc item effects. His second ability is called Vile Vine. This is him. I don't know if I want him to throw the vine or if I want him to like that and like spit the vine out. I think both of those would be cool, but I'm not sure which one would actually fit better in the game. Let me know down below. But so basically he throws or spits this vine out, and if it attaches to a wall, it will pull him to the wall. I picture this the same range as ranged auto attack range. So if you want to go up on a wall, like higher on a wall, you're going to have to be closer to it, right? This isn't like an infinitely ranged ability. It is just a ranged auto attack range. If it hits a wall, he goes to it, activates his passive automatically. Now he's on the wall. If this hits an enemy hero, it will root the first hero and the first enemy hero hit, obviously doing damage, will root them, and then it will explode and slow the enemies around it. So this is his only form of hard CC in the kit, is a single target root, and it's yeah, the point is that he He doesn't, he's an assassin, right? He doesn't have this crazy amount of hard CC to set up his stuff, but this route does allow him to catch people, stuff like that, right? He doesn't really have AoE damage either, which you'll see as we go through the kits. But his Q and his E, both of these abilities, slow his move speed while they use it. So his Q obviously slashes in front of him. It slows him by half while he uses it. So if people are at the very end of your range, you're not going to get all 4 slashes on, right? You're going to have to set this up properly with E and your RMB, which we'll get into. So you're going to have to set it up properly. His RMB is going to be the next thing we talk about, which is called Ferocity. This is basically he jumps off of whatever he's standing on and slams down. If he is on flat ground, as you can see by the graphics here, if he's on flat ground, it will go like a Kira dash or less. Very short jump, right? It's still useful for an auto attack cancel, don't get me wrong, but a very short jump. If he is on a wall, if he is higher up, or even if he's on, the ledges near gold buff, right? That's still height. The higher up he is, the farther this jump travels. So I picture this capping out farther than Greystone Leap, because while Greystone does have a pretty far leap, it doesn't have a prerequisite to getting that distance, right? This jump would have a prerequisite, which is being high on a wall. So if you can get high on a wall, you're rewarded by being able to jump farther. When this lands, it does damage in an AoE. I picture this like Sev Root kind of AoE, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. And he slams down with his fists and does damage. So this is obviously, again, if you can set this up properly, if you crawl into duo lane on a wall high up, you're going to be able to jump further into the duo lane, right? But if you come into duo lane and you don't have it up or whatever, right, and you're not on a wall, then you're not going to be able to gain very much distance off of this. Moving into his ultimate, this is called Mutate. This is a stim style ultimate, transformation ultimate. You can call it whatever you want. I was hesitant about it, but I do think that this kind of ultimate fits his kit best. So basically, he imbues himself with his own magic, further mutating him and growing to 2 more arms. So now he's up to 6 arms total. With this, his Q, all of his abilities gain additional effects. His Q now hits 6 times rather than 4 times. So with this up, you're going to be able to hit someone 6 times with this, which is, again, if you're building crit, that's a lot of damage, right? But you're going to be very squishy. His E, his Vine, this will now, when you hit someone with it, it will pull you to the target. I had a couple iterations of this, including things like Richter Hook, stunning, rooting all targets, like that kind of thing. And I decided that I didn't want to give him AoE hard CC, and I didn't think I wanted to give him a stun. I think he could work with a stun. I don't think that would be that bad. But I decided that this would give him a way for like a hard engage. Rather than giving him hard CC to be able to walk at someone, I wanted to give him a hard engage. So obviously, he's still squishy. If you use this and grab onto someone and pull yourself to them, and their whole team is waiting there, you're still going to die, right? You're still boned. But if you use this on someone that's alone, you are going to be able to get on top of them very quickly and instantly become an issue, right? That is the goal for this ability. And then his right click, his jump, this is basically when he's ulting, he jumps, when he slams down, he cracks the ground and basically makes, in that jump AoE, it will become rough terrain, basically, and it will slow enemies that move into it. So in that AoE, enemies will be slowed. And that will let him, like, again, it causes chaos if he's using it to disengage. If he's using his ultimate to disengage, it creates a slowing field. Now people have to walk around it, that kind of thing. I picture this like not a super strong slow, maybe 25%, 30%, something like that. But it'd give him another tool to be able to keep on people while he's in his ultimate. So moving into the final part of this video, it's going to be my thoughts on the character. Like how I came up with him, how I did all this stuff, what I think of the kit, how I picture him playing. We're going to get into it. So as always, if you guys had thoughts on the kit, let me know. If you guys have thoughts on my thoughts moving to this, also let me know. I'm really curious what you guys think. So I picture Slasher as a melee assassin. He's like a true assassin, right? No stealth, no gimmicks. He's just someone that if he gets on top of you, he will kill you very quickly. You have to be scared of him. So with this kit, I like the idea of climbing on walls, and I knew that I wanted him to climb on walls. That was the first idea. I was like, if I'm going to make an original character, he's going to climb on walls. So I let him climb on walls, but then on top of that, the passive has to fit with the kit, right? So if I'm going to make him climb on walls, what else can he do on walls? Can he jump off of them really far? Like is what I gave him with his RMB. A couple of the other ideas were things like um, grabbers from uh, Deep Rock Galactic, right? Can he pull people to him on the wall and grab them, right? Do damage, something like that off the wall. And I decided that I didn't want him to be able to do damage while he's on the wall, because that feels kind of uninteractable. I know that it's not, because it is, again, the game's obviously 3D. People can interact with you while you're on the wall, but I didn't want him to be able to do damage while on the wall. I just wanted him to use it to further incentivize the rest of his kit. So I gave him an RMB that scales with distance. So if you're high on a wall, you get to go far. I gave him a vine, his E, that lets him quickly get onto wall, right? He can use this to quickly grab a wall, latch himself onto it, go there, right? That's something that he gets to do very freely. On top of that, I was like, well, okay, then he needs something that is if he has these two abilities that interact with these walls that let him do high mobility things, he needs damage. So I came up with this ability that is this slashing ability, but it can crit, because if he's going to be an assassin, you don't want to just boost the base numbers on this until they're really OP. So I figured, if you want to make him a full assassin, just like, you can build crit on him, and he will do a lot of damage. So that's kind of what I leaned into. So like, the base numbers on this maybe are a little low. So if you're building kind of hybrid, you're not going to get as much value out of this, right? And then his ultimate, I had a couple other designs for this. I ended up going with the stim style ultimate, because I wanted him to be a menace for those like 8 seconds that he has it, right? Maybe he can get 2 Qs off even in this time period, right? If he ults then Qs, maybe he can get another one off, right? And that kind of thing, just think is really cool. Being able to ult, and you have 8 seconds to make do, and the enemy has to survive 8 seconds, right? That is the goal. Is you survive the ultimate. Now he's not that strong of a character. He's just a normal assassin now, instead of an assassin on meth, right? He's not cracked out right now. Is just a normal assassin. So that's kind of what I ended up going with. I like the idea of him having 1 hard CC, but it's also his best escape, right? So he can use his vine to root someone and try and catch up to them. However, if he does that, his jump doesn't go very far. So if your positioning is really good, like you're on those ledges next to gold buff, maybe you can vine somebody, because you can jump off the gold buff, off of those walls next to gold buff, and still get good distance. But if you're not in a good spot where your jump is going to get you out, you're probably better jumping in, right? And then you can use your vine to get out as his true only kind of get out mobility. So while he does kind of sound like he has a lot of mobility, in practice, it's going to be a decision making, right? Do you vine to root someone to guarantee your damage, or do you just try to get your damage off and then vine out, right? It's the idea of, yes, this character can do a lot of things, but because he can do those things, it makes the gameplay loop different, right? You have to make decisions in the moment that are going to impact how your next 10 seconds go. If I vine this enemy to root him right now, what happens if Steel comes walking in through this fog wall? Am I just dead? Right? Like, these are things that you kind of have to think about. And it's going to change up how he's played. I picture him having a fairly high skill ceiling, because, like, again, you have to make all these decisions in the moment of how to use your abilities when you don't have hard CC. That it's like, well, what do you do? And you're always going to be taking return damage, because, again, he doesn't have a stun. I didn't want to give him a stun. I think the vine could honestly stun, and it would be okay. But I wanted to see what you guys think. So if you think he needs something like a stun in his kit, let me know down below. But so yeah, that is where I'm going to leave you guys. This has been my first original hero design. Hopefully the art and stuff is fine. I'm not an artist, so don't make fun of the art, okay? If you're going to critique something, critique the kit itself. The art is just the best I could do, so I'm sorry. But if you guys enjoy this kind of thing, if you guys like the kit, let me know. I'm really curious of your guys' thoughts. This is my first time trying something like this, so go a little bit easy on me. But that's all I've got for you guys today. So I'm going to head out. As always, I've been Pinzo. This video is done, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.